Good morning, everyone. For Telesur, I'm Cody Weddle in Caracas, Venezuela. We start today here in Venezuela, where President Nicolas Maduro made a number of key announcements in his annual address last night. Maduro's announcements involved even more investment in the productive and social sectors. Now, it comes despite economic attacks from business and the opposition, as well as a low oil price. Maduro also announced a modified exchange rate system and a rethinking of increasing the domestic price of gasoline. He also pledged to not increase public transport fares. The Venezuelan head of state also reiterated calls for peace and dialogue, even as opposition leaders continue to call for destabilization demonstrations. Cuba and the United States opened 2 days of historic talks in Havana yesterday. The meetings follow the historic decision by Cuban President Raul Castro and U.S. President Barack Obama to normalize diplomatic relations. U.S. Deputy Assistant Secretary of State Alex Lee and Cuban Foreign Ministry official Josefina Vidal sat down for the first day of closed-door talks. They will focus on immigration issues. Cuban officials have raised concerns about the U.S. policy of sending back immigrants who arrive by sea. That's known as the wet foot, dry foot policy. For the latest on this process of reopening relations between the United States and Cuba, we turn now to our correspondent in the United States, Alexandra Hall. Alexandra.
The last time such a high-level U.S. government official visited the island was in the 1970s. First on the agenda, immigration and the logistics of reopening a U.S. embassy in Havana. In his State of the Union address on Tuesday, President Obama congratulated his administration for making history.
When what you're doing doesn't work for 50 years, it's time to try something new.
The U.S. Departments of Commerce and Transportation recently made it possible for certain types of travel to Cuba. New regulations will ease telecommunications business there, but real change has yet to come.
It's important to keep in mind that the U.S. embargo is still in place, and so there's not going to be a huge flood of U.S. trade or any U.S. investment. That's all still illegal.
Illegal and, according to activists, unproductive.
Long-term, what needs to happen is there needs to be full economic interaction with Cuba. It's 90 miles away. It's a historic trading partner with the United States.
So long as the U.S. government uses the blockade, which is an act of war that deprives the Cuban people of food, medicine, what they're entitled to live, that's still war against Cuba.
But matters of foreign policy only go so far without congressional approval.
The president has said that he wants to open a debate with Congress about lifting the embargo, but the Republican leaders in both the House and Senate have come out against the president's policy. So I don't think they're going to allow legislation to lift the embargo to get to the floor of either the House or Senate.
The current round of diplomatic talks will continue until Thursday. Meanwhile, 6 in 10 Americans say that they support ending the blockade. While for Cuba, 3 priorities remain: getting rid of Guantanamo, lifting the embargo, and making sure that Cuba is removed from the U.S. state sponsors of terrorism list. In Washington, I'm Alexandra Hall for Telesur.
Thanks to Alexandra. In Bolivia yesterday, as part of the inauguration process for his new term in office, President Evo Morales addressed a crowd at the pre-Columbian ruins of Tiwanaku. Morales is the first indigenous president in a country where nearly 60% of the population is indigenous. He vowed to continue promoting Andean socialism and indigenous values. Mexican President Enrique Peña Nieto has come under further scrutiny for buying property in the state of Mexico from a local developer. That developer then won millions of dollars worth of public work contracts. Now, according to documents obtained by the Wall Street Journal, while Peña Nieto served as governor of the state of Mexico from 2005 to 2011, he bought property from local developer Roberto San Roman Whitaker, who then won $100 million in government projects. The news comes as family of the 43 students of Iguala continue demanding more action from the president to find those responsible. With the latest on this investigation, here's our correspondent in Mexico, Clayton Kahn.
Yesterday, Mexico's Attorney General Jesus Murillo Karam commented to reporters after a national forum on the country's criminal justice system that, quote, "Statements, evidence, and everything else makes me believe that they were killed there," referring to the 43 Ayotzinapa students in the Guerrero state town of Cocula. Now, this comes after the Attorney General's office announced that DNA testing on 17 charred human remains in Innsbruck, Austria, have not been able to be identified due to the high temperatures in which they were subjected to. However, this past December 8th, the forensic analysis in Austria said they positively ID'd the remains of one of the students, Alexander Mora. The authorities claim that the students were illegally detained by Iguala and Cocula police, handed over to the drug gang Guerreros Unidos, and executed, with the remains being burned. However, families and supporters say the investigation has had many holes, continuing their demand for the return alive of the missing students. This is Clayton Kahn reporting for Telesur, here in Mexico City.
Thanks to Clayton. Moving to Peru now, many farm workers continue to face daily harassment, oftentimes at the hands of multinationals. As our correspondent Raul Mora reports, the workers claim the organizations ignore local laws.
Last Tuesday, police officers and security forces of the multinational U.S. mining company Yanacocha invaded the home of farm worker Maxima Acuña. Acuña won a legal case against Yanacocha last December 17th that determined she is the rightful owner of the land where she lives. The case put an end to a legal battle that lasted 4 years. However, Yanacocha is not respecting the judicial decision.
In the Tragadero Grande area, where the property of Maxima Acuña and her family is, a contingent of 20 police officers came in to prevent her from planting and fixing up her house, which had been damaged by the rain and the environment of the highlands. This is something that they have done previously, and this year they are doing it again.
Multinational corporations often hire police officers. The law allows police to work for other entities on their own time. However, in remote areas, the lines between the private and public duties of the officers are often completely blurred. Such situations are clearly illegal, but are the results of decades of neoliberal policies, according to analyst Marisa Glave.
Practically everything that blocks a mining project is seen as an enemy of development or is seen as a sign of something that needs to be eliminated. Therefore, the government eliminates environmental protections and impact studies, reduces the number of studies required for a project and the capacity of institutions to oversee whether there are environmental impacts, and also reduces the protections of citizens, such as in the case of Maxima.
Maxima's case is not isolated. Glave points out that there are a great number of documentary reports from farm workers and peasant communities who have denounced being defrauded by those running large mining projects. They also claim that they don't have the tools to negotiate with or protect themselves against the moves of those companies. Reporting from Lima, Peru for Telesur, Rael Mora.
Thanks to Raul. Moving on now. Russia responded disparagingly to President Barack Obama's annual State of the Union address, claiming it showed that the United States wanted to dominate world affairs. Now, according to Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov,
there's just one thing at the heart of their philosophy. We are number one, and the rest should acknowledge that. This is a bit out of date and does not correspond to modern realities. It shows that the United States wants to dominate the world.
In Greece, the nation is preparing for elections on Sunday, which could see anti-austerity party Syriza win the presidency. Greece has the highest debt in the Eurozone, totaling $368 billion. There have been some fears that if Syriza wins, Greece would leave the Eurozone. Syriza officials, though, say that they would likely remain in the zone if the EU helps with debt reduction. And in Ukraine this morning, 9 people have been confirmed killed after a shell hit a bus stop in Donetsk. Even more people were injured, according to local authorities. The shelling comes shortly after the meeting on Wednesday of the foreign ministers of Russia, Ukraine, Germany, and France in Berlin. They continue to search for a solution to the Ukrainian crisis. we end in Switzerland, where more than just people are protesting the World Economic Forum. Save a Snowman to Stop Climate Change is the theme of one of the protests outside the World Economic Forum. Protesters criticize the forum for promoting excessive wealth and inequality, dominance of the business classes, and for high security spending. More than 120 snowmen also protested world poverty and rising temperatures. The World Economic Forum typically brings together 2,500 business people as well as political leaders. Plenty more on those stories and others at our website, telesurtv.net/English. Back with you in just a few hours with the latest headlines for Telesur English. I'm Cody Weddle. Have a great day.